This is the Grounded Labs Oasis Mini Kinetic Sand Art Machine. Now, I've had this thing sat on my desk now for a little bit. I've been playing around with it, testing out different patterns, and it's pretty fun to watch. And overall, it seems to work pretty well, but it does have one slightly disappointing feature, so let me give you a closer look at it. First, I'll go ahead and show you how it comes packaged. So this is the box it comes in. Nice printing on it. Very premium box. It opens up like an Apple box. Super nice. Looks like there's foam here encasing the machine. Very nice packaging. The machine here is made out of plastic with this wood laminate on it. And on the bottom here, there are rubber feet to hold this thing in place. There's this nice glass window that sits on top. A little difficult to remove, but there we go. Now to set this thing up, you're going to take this small bag of white sand that came with it and just dump that on top. Then you can take this special comb that came with it and spread the sand around, trying to get a nice even coating across the whole surface. And I found after spreading it around, if you lightly tap the sides, that will flatten it out pretty well. And then you can take this small metal ball here and drop it right in the center. There's a magnet that it will stick to. Then we can go ahead and take the glass and drop that right back on top. And the glass sits nicely on top. There's this lip around the edge that holds it in place. And then finally you can plug it in with this USB-C power cord it came with. And now it's pretty much ready to go. All you have to do is download the Oasis Control app, and then you can start making cool patterns. Now, I will point out that the video is currently playing on 100 times speed, just so I could show you how this thing makes the pattern. So the actual speed is much slower. It took just about an hour to draw out this pattern. But anyway, this thing has these really cool LED lights in it. They're just around the inside of the circle. And these have a bunch of different settings you can change, which I will show later. I will mention the light strip does definitely have some hot spots where you can just barely make out some individual lights. I don't really think it's a big deal though, and they definitely still do help add to the aesthetics. But anyway, it looks like it's just about finished. That was pretty fun to watch. All right, and there we go. That was pretty cool. I didn't watch it for the full hour, but when I did, it was nice and calming, very relaxing to watch. Anyway though, now I want to give you a quick look at the app you use to control this. Alright, so this here is the Oasis Control app. Right at the start here, you can see the current pattern that it's making. And this is pretty cool. It shows you the position of the ball, as well as the progress that's been made on the pattern. And then scrolling down, there's a button to change the color, and you can change it to anything on this RGB color wheel here. Or if you want something a little more dynamic, there are a bunch of different modes you can choose. There's also a couple sliders here. One of them changes the brightness of the lights, and the other one changes the speed of the mode. But then backing out to here, there's some controls to pause, play, or skip the patterns. Right under that, there is your playlist of patterns. It shows you which one is going to play next, and you can add as many patterns to the playlist as you want. And there's hundreds of different patterns here. Again, lots of cool choices to choose from. There's patterns for animals, monsters, flowers, plants, vehicles. There's even themed sections, so like this one here is for Christmas, so there's lots of different cool Christmas designs. There's also plenty of geometric designs. Some are simple and some can get pretty complicated. But anyway, there are a few more settings here. They're kind of hidden away up at the top right. This is where you can change the ball's speed. You can also choose whether you want it to pause after each pattern, give you a little bit of time to enjoy the pattern before it starts the next one. You can also set a schedule for this to start and stop at a specific time. But after testing it out and trying different ways to get it to work, unless I'm doing something wrong or my machine just came broken, it does not seem to do anything. Which is a little disappointing because that definitely would be a helpful feature, but it's not too difficult to flatten this thing out on your own. And unless you're doing a pattern with a lot of blank space, you really don't have to flatten it out anyway. But apart from that, the app works just fine. It has plenty of different designs and lots of different ways you can customize this thing. And I'll also mention you don't have to have the app open when you're running this thing. You can turn your device off, you can close out the app, and it'll still continue making the patterns you set. But yeah, I mean, overall this thing is really cool. It's relaxing, fun, and calming to watch. It also seems to be built pretty well. It's easy to connect to. I like all the different patterns and light options they have. And overall, this is just a really fun kinetic sand art machine.